Scoochie my ninjas, baby. Javelli production. Skirt, skirt, that. Skirt, tat, tat. Brotaurus MAD.
What's up, my ninjas?
Real quick.
Yeah, because we got to get going. We're gonna get going. All right. So I'm me, they're them, we're us, and we are the YouTube equivalent of Braille. Because when we speak, people
Feel
us. Yeah, that's right. We're not even doing mailbag. So if you sent mailbag stuff in, cool. Do it again.
We'll get you next week.
Here it is. Yep. Send your questions, comments, and or complaints to madcheesemo@gmail.com or call 726-610-5357. Mad Jones.
And just to clarify, if it is a complaint, it must be directed at Imperatus.
Sure, why not?
You know, that is important to say. If you have a complaint about an individual, just don't say, you're dumb. That could be any of us. We know who you're referring to, but to help everybody else out, if you could just, address it to the individual that you have the biggest problem with. And if it's me, don't even bother. It will be deleted. So,
Unless you call it in like 3 minutes before the show because he doesn't have time to screen it then.
that is, yeah. Well, no, because I'll use every voicemail I get. So we have some. Anybody got anything to say? Everybody enjoyed last week. The Falcon and the Snowman. It was one of my favorites.
I had a lot of fun with
I
that
just
one.
want Slender to be Pip the Falcon on more shows. I think it'll do better.
Kill him! Kill him! He's the problem! We gotta kill him right now!
Okay, well,
I'm not going to say that people who in the 20th to 20th or 21st century who fall into falconry as a pastime are probably weird, but I'm just saying there's probably in the Venn diagram there's a big overlap.
yeah.
Listen, if you've spent enough time with a falcon that you are starting to have conversations with it,
I think we added that. That may be apocryphal. I don't remember.
Well, was it the drugs or was it the Falcon?
The drugs.
true.
Mm-hmm.
No, the drugs. I've been around birds, not high. You know what I mean?
Punk Waddle, that Venn diagram of overlapping problems is just going to be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
We're
there's
gonna keep
probably
adding circles to it.
Wait. So, Matt, you
guessing-
said you've been around birds not high. Have you
Yes.
talked to birds?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I've been around birds. I've never been worried about getting jihaded.
Have you ever heard Punk Waddle say anything?
Oh, I don't like that.
What?
I fell right into that one. Anyway,
I'm
all
more
right.
than
Well,
a
tonight's
bird.
story is a.
Bitch.
You got me on that one. Tonight's story is a very special story. It's one of my favorites. It's about Abraham Lincoln. Ever heard of him? John Wilkes Booth. Ever heard of him? And somebody I know you haven't. Boston Corbett.
when you first sent it over, I thought that was a wrestler because it sounds like a wrestler's name.
Oh, it kind of does. Yeah, he invented the Boston Crab.
I would believe it after reading the story. So, yeah, tonight's story is basically about 3 lives that became inextricably intertwined.
It's our Crash or our Valentine's Day or our Love Actually. Does that make sense?
That's true. I know when I think of Love Actually, I think of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. It's just exactly where I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, you remember when that dude from
He was on a date when it happened.
Ooh.
remember when the dude from Walking Dead put up those flashcards?
Yeah.
Right, it's
Rick.
right with that. They could have just did a hard jump cut to Lincoln on his date, getting his
Same
head blown
energy.
up.
Love hurts.
All right, well, we can.
I mean, Mary Todd was crazy. She would be in a horror movie. Mary Todd could be in a horror movie. That's
Oh, they talk about the kid in this one, right?
Willie. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Willie comes up. All right.
Is that an important thing? You want to make sure we talk about his dead kid? That's
Yep.
Okay. All right. Just making.
Okay.
Matt's favorite part.
So just be aware, we have a panelist who's from the land of Lincoln and will take all of this stuff very personally. So, even though he is associated with Illinois, Abraham Lincoln was born February 12th.
All right, pause. We're pausing right off
Yeah, I
the
don't
bat.
care for that either.
Illinois. The
Isn't
S
that-
is silent. I swear to God, if you cannot silence the S at the end of this, I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
fucking out.
I'm with Slender on this and his Lincoln log of all the attributes and things that he's going to have to compare and contrast with. But yeah, I'm actually from Illinois myself, and I know
So
how to
Slender.
pronounce the word.
I mean, there's a non-zero chance I did it to piss off Slender, but
That's on me. I should have deleted all the S's on Illinois.
because they always being so loud up there, right? Am I right?
Yep.
Making all that Illinois.
Oh no, no.
No.
Yay!
I'm glad Brahma is sober because drunk Brahma would have been already saying things that would have made this so much worse. Oh, all right. So, even though he's associated with Illinois, he was actually
worse.
born.
Thank you.
He was born in Kentucky, February 12th, 1809, in a one-room log cabin. In 1816, his family
True.
moved to Indiana, a slave-free state. His mother died in 1818 from milk sickness caused by drinking milk from cows that ate poisonous white snake root.
Milk sickness. What are we gonna call it? Milk sickness. She drank milk. She got sick.
I feel
Milk
like that's a
sickness.
cover-up thing. Like, Papa, how did Mama die? Was it because she wasn't cleaning and you were yelling at her? No, she got milk sickness. Shut your mouth.
He was
Drank the wrong
lactose
milk.
intolerant, you insensitive prick.
Yeah, isn't
No more
that milk
questions.
sickness?
Isn't that the same thing that killed Luke Skywalker?
No,
I mean,
that was a
technically,
broken
yeah.
heart,
No,
Punk Waddle.
Kathleen Kennedy killed fucking Luke.
Oh, it was just blue. My bad. Okay.
Green. It was green milk.
So,
What? Slender, your mic's too low.
My mic.
You said it was green milk.
I'm at 8 again. It dropped me down to 8. I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything to it, and it went down to 8.
I don't know why you're yelling.
can you move it to 11?
It's at 75 right up. 69, 56.
I don't know. Yeah,
Man,
the
y'all
Windows
need to
has
Google
been-
how to fix this shit.
I have tried so many things.
Have you tried Yahoo?
Did
I
you just
don't
recommend Yahoo? What is this? 2000?
Have you asked Jeeves?
Did you go? Did you use Alta
Fuck
Vista
you, I'm
to go
going
to
to
Ask
Magellan.
Jeeves? Oh, let me fire up Netscape Navigator so I can make sure I can get to the site I want. All right. Somehow Lincoln managed to get over the loss of his mother to milk sickness.
Lactose intolerance, yes.
Well, it set the stage because obviously Lincoln fought his whole life against intolerance, and we know why.
Oh,
Lactose intolerance of other races. I'm against all of them.
you'll die
Little
from
known fact,
some-
the house divided against itself cannot stand was about whole milk. So
Oh, Lincoln offed his mother. He was like, I'm sick of you being so intolerant to this milk.
You guys will die from slave intolerance. Wait, no, hold on. That makes it sound like you're being intolerant to having slaves. You know what I mean. I'm Abraham Lincoln.
in the Lincoln Douglas debates, there's a famous tangent where Douglas was like, maybe we don't like go full this, but how about 2% tolerance? I hear it does a lot better for people.
No.
you switch to
There's
2%.
one drop of tolerance.
Fucking-
That's too much.
Skim tolerance.
Yeah, we
No.
go with the one drop rule here.
Vitamin D of
For
tolerance.
Oh, Mad's going like people.
Oh
like,
no! I just piggybacked off of Slender. He was the one that brought up one drop.
Slender is an octoroon of intolerance over here.
I can tolerate 3/4.
That's a lot.
I feel like 3/5 is a better compromise.
That's the one.
I
Ooh.
like a 3/5 compromise.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, Brahma uses that compromise with his beverages. 3/5 of his drink is always bourbon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Indivisible by what?
I figured 3/5 of his
3/5.
bloodstream was always alcohol.
That's closer to it. Because
Okay,
it's
so
always
mom's
all
dead.
parts bourbon.
So with his mother dead, Lincoln had to self-educate because
There's
no one
other
was there to
choice.
help him.
That is-
The single room log cabin. I mean,
yeah, osmosis. He should pick up some shit, right?
So nothing changed. She's like, that bitch never taught me anything. She was always out in the outhouse because she was having a reaction to the milk.
That's true. You know, if you think about it, Lincoln's life story and being as venerated as he is really an indictment of his mother dying of milk sickness.
Hey, Courtney.
No, it's an endorsement of his mother dying of milk sickness.
That's true. All right.
Well, you know,
so,
the cow's only been domesticated for 300 years. The human body hasn't evolved to digest dairy.
Lincoln's father was known to yell, "Damn it, woman, we get the milk for free. Learn to drink it." All right. So at 22, Lincoln left home and worked various jobs.
By the way, he's like, based on what we've seen, he is way too old to just now be leaving home.
Late bloomer.
I mean, clearly Lincoln isn't of Irish descent. He would have been out there
he's-
at 11.
Yeah.
He's still in Indiana, right? Where's he gonna go? To this day, there's nothing in Indiana.
yeah, Mike Pence is from there, and that's not a great endorsement.
isn't there like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a few other random things?
That's Ohio.
Yeah,
I think
nothing in
it-
Indiana. Okay.
They have the Indianapolis 500, right? Isn't that there?
Is there a
That's about
football
it.
Hall of Fame or something? The Heisman?
Also in Ohio.
Can't Ohio. Punk, do you
Canton,
think
Ohio.
that? Do you just think that Ohio is Indiana?
Is
Well, if-
Indiana the one that got their river caught on fire?
That was also
That's the
Ohio.
River.
Yeah.
To
Uh,
give Punk Waddle credit, though, most people from Illinois consider Indiana and Ohio to just be one vast nothingness that doesn't matter.
See, I
Can't
was
disagree.
raised properly. It was just a long time ago.
If I remember right, that whole zone is just considered Pennsyltucky,
By the
where
way,
it's
now that
all
we
just one state.
now that we
it's-
know Punk Waddle doesn't know a whole lot, I'm guessing his mother died from milk sickness too.
Indiana, Ohio, and Pennsylvania are all just a turnpike by which you drive to other places.
I have driven from Pierre in Illinois to Philadelphia, and it was just like 2 turnpikes. Yeah.
You just get on the road,
In a
you
microphone?
stop thinking, and you drive straight.
It's like
I got that,
Hey,
Ned.
Thank you.
there's a little stops where you can get Nathan's hot dogs if you want them.
That's what you remember?
Yep.
Where is it at?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Peanut butter jelly time. Let's go.
Chad.
I guess we can.
I was
continue
just making a
the
quick
story now.
update, Mad, that you may notice now. That was for Mad. All right. So he left home, married Mary Todd, and eventually had 4 sons. I'm guessing Punk Waddle just noticed the change.
That one, I caught the other one earlier.
Yeah. In this time, he managed to fight in the Black Hawk War, teach himself law, get elected to the Illinois state legislature in the 1830s, and the House of Representatives in 1847. So he was a congressman. He went from state legislature to congressman, all without having any formal education.
Self-taught. Always a good
Self-taught.
sign. Can't do that anymore.
In 1860, he became the Republican nominee for president, the first Republican
Wait,
nominee.
pause. What do you mean you can't do that anymore? Pete Hegseth had 2 fucking degrees from prestigious universities, and they still said he wasn't experienced enough for the job.
I'm gonna say, I think today, if you're like, oh, I taught myself law, they would call you a pseudo lawyer.
Well, the state bars have locked out your ability to do, like, they
Yeah.
won't
I
let
was
you
going to
even.
say, you
Yeah.
still have to take the bar.
Yeah, well, no, you're not allowed to take the bar exam now without a Juris Doctorate, a JD, from an accredited law
Are
school.
you serious?
Virginia was like the last state that changed it. Virginia used to allow you to take the bar exam and act as an attorney just if you passed it.
This is why unions are bad. All they do is close the door.
I blame Lincoln. Clearly, the lawyers were like, we can't have somebody making us look bad. Look, he just self-taught and he became a Mount Rushmore worthy president. We got to lock this down.
Well, I think it just stands that sometimes homeschooling, when you actually teach somebody something, can work.
Yeah, homeschooling works. I don't know who's against it.
Well, since I homeschool my son, I'm waiting to hear people say things. Let's go.
I was going to say, I homeschooled my daughters all through middle school. So I have no objections.
I mean, I got my PhD at home.
Well, I mean, we're smarter people, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of people that still to this day kind of
Did you just say we're smarter people? Oh boy.
We in that? I thought he included you in that.
I don't consider us smarter people. We're a bunch of idiots on the internet.
Not me, bro.
Okay.
I'll let you get your egos fight it out, but I said what I said. Yeah.
I said what I said.
I don't know what we're talking about at this point. Chad's waiting to yell at somebody if they say the wrong thing about something. I don't remember what.
If they insult homeschooling, because I'm a very big proponent of it. I would argue that Lincoln is a good example of how we haven't had any truly great and successful people come out of the standardized education system. Everybody who's done something has gone out of it.
I will back Chad up on this. At the very best, if I homeschool my children, they will be close to as smart as I am. Yeah. Most teachers that I have seen these days will make my children way dumber than I am.
See, it's a smart decision whether you're a smart person.
All right, so imperative.
Don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Doing text to speech to text.
Punkwaddle, imperative, and probable, I know, are very intelligent. I'm guessing that might have been Brahmable.
Okay, so yeah.
Confirmation.
It's Punkwaddle, Imperatus, and Brahmable, and then the rest, not the rescue, but the rest I don't know.
The rest of you I don't know, and Matt is definitely questionable.
So apparently me and Chad are stupid.
Well, to be fair to her, nothing she said is not factually correct because she knows the other people. She doesn't know us, so she can't make a comment on it. And Matt is questionable.
Yeah.
Right.
Fact check true.
Undermines her entire thing if she thinks I'm questionable.
Unreliable narrator.
All right, so by 1860, Lincoln managed to become the Republican nominee for president and got elected the first Republican president on a campaign strongly opposing the expansion of slavery.
Wait. Are you telling me that he was a racist and a xenophobe and a fascist?
Yeah, he was a
That's
straight
what I
white
got out of
man in
that
America in the 19th century. Yes.
He was a Republican? Ugh. Oh, gross.
Well, later he'll become a Democrat. Post
When the parties switch.
Yep.
The party switched.
So his election led to a sequence of events causing the southern states to secede, hostility to increase, leading directly to the Civil War. By 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, used the Union Army to protect escaping slaves, and encouraged border states to outlaw slavery, and pushed for the 13th Amendment to abolish slavery permanently. Because, for people who don't ever actually read the full thing, the Emancipation Proclamation only applied the states in rebellion.
The yet rebellious states.
So, as an example, Maryland was in the Union, even though it was a slave state. We had other ones like that as well. So he was pushing for them to do that. Now,
when does he start hunting vampires?
Well, that's what funny.
Pretty sure that's after his presidency, right?
We're going to turn away
2018.
because we know a lot about Lincoln. We're going to turn away from him for a moment and learn about a man who is overlooked in history, someone who is intertwined with Lincoln's life, a man by the name of Tom Corbett, who was born in 1832 in London, moving to Troy, New York at age 7. As a teenager, he worked as a hatter, and as people who are familiar
Was
with,
he a Mad Hatter?
he becomes a very mad hatter.
Yes, that's where it comes from. They use fucking mercury to mold the felt.
Yeah, so
That's one of the things, and it's not mercury, but it's one of the things, puppet makers and hat makers and people that kind of work with all the glues and all the stuff and all the molding and all the fumes trapped in small rooms.
That explains so much about your people.
Fumes in the rooms. You need to make
Indeed
that
it
song,
does.
Funk Bottle. That's a good song. Fumes in the rooms.
Okay. Let me write this down if I can find something.
Like a notebook.
with my fumes in the room.
Like a computer?
Here, I got it.
He's getting out his Lincoln log.
Ew.
We're old school.
No, I did that earlier.
Paper.
All right, so he's born in 1832, moved to New York.
he moved to Troy, New York at age 7. Became a hatter as a teenager. That's where
Good
he
job.
becomes exposed to mercury. The known side effects of this exposure included dementia, hallucinations, psychosis, and twitching, which became known as hatter shakes, or another way of describing it was being mad as a hatter.
Listen, the dementia is not. It's not dementia if the hallucinations are real.
Oh, it just reminds me of milk sickness. Just, he's shaking? Well, what does he do? Oh, he's a hatter? Hatter shakes.
Well,
It's
the sickness of twitch happened much earlier than we thought.
We really
That's a
need
bit
to
of a
lower
reach.
I
spot.
almost want to move you up to move you down.
Hold on. We do this so you can immediately get put back.
It's just not
You know what they say? You gotta get up to get down.
Got it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, that was a Coolio song. That's what I like.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
overestimating the amount of parents out there that can pull off homeschooling.
So you're saying somehow if they got paid, it'd be good, but if they don't get paid, they're not smart.
No, that's not.
If they got paid to do it, though, different story. Last sentence of that comment.
Right.
So how does being paid suddenly make them better at educating children?
I don't think it was about being better at educating. It's just that there will be more parents to do it.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome if it's like, hey, you're really smart and your kids are doing really well. Some of the other neighborhood kids could use homeschooling too. We'll pay you to teach them.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's co-op, but I get what you're saying. Like, if you certain cost of living, certain households, certain jobs that you have to be able to afford the family living, and sometimes you don't have a parent who can stay at home and teach the kids.
If you've got two parents that are both working, it's pretty much impossible. But it's not expensive by any means. It actually saves you some money in the long run.
To quote good Will Hunting over there, about $12.50 in library late fees could have got you the same thing.
I mean, I spent like $300, well, $600 to get 2 laptops so that they could do all the online stuff.
Glad to see Punk Twaddle is back.
Oh no! I don't.
It was
like
Punk
this guy.
Wattle a minute ago. Yeah. Now it's
I
Punk
don't-
Wattle.
Punk. I don't know who this guy is, but I don't like him. Why is he in our chat?
I don't know, but it looks like he's got a wrench, so it's hard to dodge.
All right. So
We're
Tom
just putting you there so that we can knock you back down.
Oh, I know
Shut
it's temporary, but even the little things feel good.
So Tom Corbett does get
That's what
married,
your wife said.
Nice. He got married.
but his wife died in childbirth
Okay, wait.
along with his
fear in my
child.
nose. Damn it, bro.
I got slender.
Wait, so it was their child, right? Not like when
Yes.
she was being born, because I wouldn't.
No, in the process of trying to give birth to her.
I didn't know if he
Tom
called
Corbett's-
dibs or whatever. Like his friend's
Child.
pregnant, and he's like, dibs. Oh, damn it, my wife died in childbirth.
Rumpelstiltskin style.
You know, I'm pretty sure that is a little known English law, common law custom from the 18th century that you can just call dibs if you're another woman's in childbirth if you've lost your wife.
Yeah.
I am the Lord. I call dibs.
Well, fucking Jacob did in Twilight.
That's true. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna marry that girl. She's a baby, Jacob. Dibs.
Yeah, but I am printed.
It's not weird if you do it that way. His family moved to Oregon and changed their last name from Epstein. It worked out.
What happened to the baby?
The baby also passed away.
Cool.
So,
The dingo ate that baby.
so Tom, of course, upset about this, started drinking heavily, wasn't able to maintain his employment, and then became a homeless man in Boston.
Okay, well, to be fair though, it's probably for the best that he lost that job before he went mad hatting.
I'm going to argue, having read further into this story, that maybe it was too late. But
The damage had already been done.
I think the exposure was present and done, because in the 1850s, a street evangelist inspired him to embrace religion. So he
Ooh,
proceeded
nice.
to renounce alcohol, grow his hair and beard out like Jesus, get baptized, and then took the name Boston Corbett. And earned the nickname of Glory to God Man
Such a long nickname.
at Fulton and Broomfield street churches. He also was
GGG,
known.
Man.
He also became
Oh yeah.
He also became known for rash behavior. In 1858, after two prostitutes propositioned him, which caused him to feel aroused,
Okay. It
he
happens.
decided to cut off his
I mean,
testicles
as you
with
do.
scissors to
Why?
avoid his animal passions.
So I have a little bit.
Wait.
I have a little bit more detail on that. It's not that he just cut them off. What he did was he slid it open like the coin purse to remove the testicles from its holding bag.
So he sliced it open, then he grabbed one, then he twisted
grabbed
it
both of
like he
No,
wrapped
he had scissors.
Oh,
Oh man, I thought maybe he did like when you got a loose thread and you kind of just wrap it around your finger and then yank it real hard.
You don't want to do that with your testicles, no.
Well, you don't want to slice them open either, Mad.
I was
The man-
gonna say
Just
I don't
the
want
coin
scissors
purse.
anywhere near my testicles.
it's just a coin purse, and now the clankety clankety went on the ground.
I will say
This guy
this.
see a piece about the goat testicles or something? Thought he'd try it for himself
Oh,
the hard
yeah.
way?
I know. That
It
Yeah.
all connects. History is cyclical.
history
Nailed
is
it.
sick.
You need to make room for those testicles.
It may not repeat, Mad, but it rhymes.
But it rhymes.
But it rhymes, yeah.
So
Real
after doing this,
Real quick. So one of my biggest fears was I would be manscaping in the shower and I would cut my goodies down there and I would bleed out
So
and somebody would have to like explain to my grandmother how I
Hey,
died, which
hold
was
on.
he was shaving his balls in the shower and he cut himself and bled out.
hold on, Mad. We have an expert on that problem
It's an even bigger
on the
fear
panel.
when it's your wife who's
Because-
using the razor.
God.
And
I was gonna let's go to Brahma. Brahma, you've lived this incident.
yes, my fear was getting aroused after being cut because a lot of blood goes there when you're aroused. So I was trying to think of anything else.
It's like a dripping
I didn't want
faucet.
to.
And then he gets aroused and it's a super soaker.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, Brahma. Maybe somebody read the insurance policy and that would have qualified the AD&D, which is accidental death and dismemberment clause for the extra payout.
Oh, dude, it
That
pays
would have
off
been
triple.
nice.
What were you doing? I was just helping him shave, and then
That's the thing. She wasn't helping me shave. She was shaving her legs. She was just
No.
sticking the razor behind her to.
no, this is the story she would have
No,
told
that
the
makes
cops
it even
when you
more
die.
accidental.
No, but that's too like neatly packaged. You got to have a little bit of.
I'll say this.
Nothing
if
about
I-
that sounded neatly
like-
packaged.
I like the choice of words, neatly packaged,
Yeah.
though.
I'll say this: if I ever have a, accidental dismemberment in that area, it should just turn it into an accidental death, because that's, you know what I mean. Like I couldn't know.
Yeah, I'm done.
Finish it. Finish the job.
Was
You've got a
Treat me like a
99.9% chance of survival. No,
No,
in me.
yeah. Treat me like a deer
Do
on
not
a
resuscitate.
Treat me like a deer on a
DNR,
dark night
dude.
that you hit with your car. Just beat the shit out of the bar until it's done.
You're just gonna get the Magnum revolver out and be like, "It's for his own good." There ain't no life left for this man to
And then
live.
somebody runs in. Wait a minute. What was his name? John Bobbitt. And then I'm dead because John Bobbitt got a new one.
I mean,
He didn't get a new one. He got the old one.
He got it
sewn back
reattached.
on.
One?
Yeah, it was reattached.
I was gonna say a Magnum is a nice choice for the.
Yeah, didn't John Bobbitt later go on to star in porn
Yeah.
called Frankenpenis?
Oh, I didn't ever know the name of it, but
Was it
Yeah,
green?
that's. I don't know. I didn't
Slender's
watch
like,
it.
I remember
just
this
heard
one.
The name.
did he have like bolts attached to the side of his penis?
It's alive. It's
Again.
alive.
It's both.
It's got to be
What?
charged with
Heard the
electricity.
name.
So our boy Boston over here didn't
Oh, yeah,
have
that's right.
didn't have the luxury of having anesthesia and all that going on. Instead, after doing that, he decided he should attend a prayer meeting, eat dinner, and then casually walk into Massachusetts General Hospital for treatment.
Oh man, can you imagine that you're sitting there at dinner. You know what? I can't do it. I'm not comfortable. I tried to pray the pain away. It didn't.
Still there.
I seem to have nicked myself.
On the plus side, I did manage to pray the gay away, so we're okay. So the third person in
Can you
our
imagine how those prostitutes must have felt? They're like, are we
Wait,
that ugly?
Did you go? Do you think he went back to update? I just want to let y'all know. Sorry, it's Boston.
your girls are wicked hot. I'm just not into it.
Smuggler, burglar. Now, I just wanted to tell you that it's not your fault that I didn't want to keep my testicles. It's going Irish. Just go on.
I like how you said "just go on" in the Irish.
Just go on now, Tom.
I just
Where's
make
my
sure-
money?
Not your balls.
Someone
Get on
came
with
up.
the story.
Wait, someone came up to Boston and was like, "Tom, where's my money, Tom?" All right. So the third person in our story is John Wilkes Booth, born May 10th, 1838 in
Ever
Maryland.
heard of him?
He was the ninth of 10 children born to famous actor Junius Brutus Booth, a known drunk with mental instability. Who
There's
knew
a-
that John
Did
Wilkes
he
Booth's
grow up a
household-
hatter?
There's a through line with a lot of these stories, and it's mental health is very important.
So, John was raised on a slave-operated farm and
Nice.
grew up to actively support the institution of slavery. He was athletic and handsome and left school at 14 after his father's death. He would
So he
join
wasn't
the
a
Time for you to
bitch like
take over the
Lincoln.
family business
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he
become an
wasn't a
actor.
bitch like Lincoln, not leaving the house until he's 22.
Yeah, he joined the Know Nothings Party, a nativist group favoring white citizens, and became an actor at the age of 17. By 1858, he joined a Richmond acting company, earning praise for his Shakespearean roles, playing
Richmond,
villains
there's the problem.
and
I
softer
bet they're north
characters.
of Richmond. Go on.
Richmond, north of Richmond.
The Richmond, north of Richmond, yeah, yep. So he gained praise for Shakespearean roles, playing villains and softer characters like Romeo, and began earning $20,000 annually, which
What is that
works
in
out
today's
to
That's a lot.
roughly about $500,000
Jesus.
in annual income today, and was regarded as possibly the handsomest man in America.
So he was a rich celebrity asshole that thought he knew shit about shit.
Actor.
So he was like
he was a
precursor
rich
of
celebrity actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
my-
like
Yeah, I said that asshole.
yeah.
That
and he
other
gets
actors
involved in
have.
politics.
So he thought for a second he should change his stage name to George Clooney, but he was like, no, that's too much of a pretentious name. I can't do it. So Booth, a vocal racist, opposed Lincoln's 1860 election.
Sorry. I don't know why that got me so hard. Just
I mean, it is known. It's not shocking. All right. He even declared to his sister Asia, "My soul, life, and possessions are for the South," and wrote that slavery was a divine blessing.
His
What a
sister's
dick.
name was what?
Asia.
Tina. Yeah, that stood out to me too.
So, in fact, in 1859, he had joined the Richmond Greys to capture abolitionist John Brown after his famous raid on Harper's Ferry. He went on to personally witness Brown's execution. Even though he disagreed with his stance, Booth did admire Brown's calm courage as a martyr.
Wait,
when
I
he
might have
was
missed this.
executed.
Who was Asia?
His
John
sister.
Wilkes Booth's sister?
Oh, his sister?
Yeah, so that
They named
continent
her
was
Asia?
okay. Yeah.
Well, he didn't. I think his parents did.
They make her
Yeah.
put together the toy train set?
Was she good at math?
Sorry, it hit, and then it hit at the second level because of the time period. There's layers to that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked on a couple levels.
Yeah.
All
They
right,
had
so-
10 kids. They just gave up trying at some point.
You like Europe.
We definitely
Asia.
not name
I
them
don't really,
Africa,
I'm
though.
not really comfortable with that country being the name of one of the kids, but we're kind of running out at this point.
Those are the ones that lived, by the way. This is also a
Listen,
time period.
Australia might come back one day.
Yeah. That is a time period where if they had 10 living kids, they had 20 dead ones.
Usually, yeah. Because they died of milk sickness and Mad Hattery.
I reckon the
Being-
last one
being a
passed
hatter.
away. What would the last one die of? It just didn't feel like it should stick around no more, so it's dead. Our children, we're just losing children left and right. How many
Baby
children?
ailment. Died from
You're
baby
like-
ailment.
I've been married to my wife since she was 14. She's given birth to 37 children. Thank God, 7 are alive.
You know what that's called? The fecundity rate.
What?
Yeah, no, seriously. It's the
Not
amount.
wrong.
Yeah, I learned this in school. Damn it, I did go. Thank you. But it's from the start of being able to make babies to the hot flashes and everything bakes out. There's the certain amount of kids between how long it takes to incubate a human being and all that, which I think
Oh.
is average.
In 2025, the men of the internet have just changed that term to the wall. So you're
Oh, okay. So
The
start to
manosphere has
yeah, the
fixed it.
manosphere says from start to finish. I thought it was like average like 25, 27.
maybe.
All right, so the babies are dead except for this 10. One's named Asia, and he appreciated John Brown
He admired John Brown going out like a martyr,
like a boss.
like a boss when he got hung. So, so
I hope that
he
doesn't
disagreed with
influence
him.
him later.
He disagreed with him, but it may have planted some seeds that helped later decision making on Booth's part. So, another fun fact: in 1860, Booth accidentally shot himself in the thigh and was in the hospital recovering as Lincoln took office.
Was he an
Oh,
NFL
he
he
had
player?
played for the
Club?
Did he play for the Giants?
Yeah, was he
Yeah.
a wide receiver?
Yeah, yeah. Plaxico Booth was also another stage name he went by. He was out there with his friend, a linebacker, who totally covered for him on the accidental discharge.
Who was the linebacker? Armstead?
It was our former head coach of the Raiders. So, so at this point, Corbett Boston Corbett moved back to New York City. I guess he still went by Boston though. So
Yeah.
well,
you don't wanna confuse-
Before the rivalry started.
Yep. So he resumed working as a hatter. So he definitely managed to get. He missed the Mercury. He wanted.
I
back
want a
in.
new character in this story. I want a very effeminate black man to follow Boston around and be like, Corbett!
So in
And he's
addition
like,
to
damn, that's whack.
in addition, I got no fire. I got no fire. In addition to resuming his work as a hatter, he would also loudly and annoyingly pray and sing at work.
Oh God.
And he
Well,
also
love the Lord, Lord loves me. I just do Manhattans. That's how I be.
he would also attend YMCA prayer meetings and had a habit of adding to words like Lord. So he would say Lorder, and
Praise her
shouting-
to the Lord, who give
just
her.
really committed to that ER, huh?
Yeah, and always loudly shouted "Amen," irritating many others.
So was it a hard ER?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
It's
kill
the
a D up
1860s.
in
There
here.
was no soft ER.
So with him singing at work though, I left it out on accident. Now that I'm thinking about it, but he would do it whenever somebody would curse at work. He would just start singing a hymn.
Oh, he would lose that fight with me.
Dude would last 3 hours tops at my job.
Maybe y'all would last. This dude doesn't give up. You have no idea.
I mean, this is a
this
dude who took
Mercury-
his own balls.
Yeah,
But if the devil doesn't like it, you can cut open my ball sack.
Imp, you're trying to act hard to a guy who cut open his own ball sack, took them out, then went and did prayers at a dinner before he walked to the hospital. He's just like, I'm gonna let that be for a couple hours.
He's at a level we could never imagine.
He's
I feel like this is a win-win. If you start to get him worked up, he hurts himself.
I mean, the only guy who could play this character in the movie is Vinnie Jones. Clearly,
Bullet Tooth Tony.
Bullet Tooth Tony.
No, there's another guy who could do it. He was in he's been in so many movies. He was in Black Sheep. He was the crazy guy that lived out in the woods.
Oh, Buscemi?
Not Buscemi.
Oh.
There was this show on Apple TV.
I
I think they had him in
Nolte?
it.
The Manhunt.
Not Nick
Yeah.
Nolte.
I never watched it.
The guy who
Well-
drinks his own urine because it's sterile, right?
Yeah. And he likes the taste.
You just named every single man in 1800s. Like,
Do I have to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile, and I like the taste.
all right. So, what was he?
I'll
doing
look it
now?
up. I'll look it up. Come back to me.
Bear
Yeah.
Grylls?
No, the guy from Dodgeball that played Patches O'Houlihan.
Gary
Oh,
Busey. Gary
Tom.
Oh,
Busey.
yeah, I
could
was
play
thinking
him.
Well,
Nolte,
that's not
but
the
Gary
same person
Busey.
at all.
Yeah. No, I was thinking Nick Nolte because he was one of those guys.
His arrest photo.
No,
with his
Gary
crazy hair.
Busey is already crazy, looks crazy, and could
Mhm.
definitely play this guy.
But votes Republican.
Yes, he does. See, Punk Twaddle knew.
All right. So,
All right.
what's
so,
Boston doing now?
Boston is annoying coworkers as
Oh, yeah.
in as much as he can when they were bothering him. All right, so now that we're at about 1861, we have 7 slave states that have seceded, and they have actually now begun the hot war by firing on Fort Sumner. Lincoln,
You
had
know what
vowed-
state didn't secede, Chad? West Virginia.
No, West Virginia didn't exist. so Slender, you're wrong because West Virginia seceded from
Or is he
Virginia.
right?
Exactly.
They
were
seceded from Virginia.
You don't
to
want to
Nazi-
be on your
Nazi-
Virginia? Fuck you guys.
So the argument is secession's wrong. You can't secede. What are you going to do about it? We're going to secede from you, you assholes.
secede from the Union, but you can secede from an asshole state that tries to secede from the Union.
So here's the
staying
thing
with the
about
Union.
West Virginia. They're like, we're fucking mountain people. We don't got bones on either. We're not going to fight for either side. If you come around here, we're just going to string you up from a tree. Doesn't matter which side you're on.
We don't like change, and Virginia's trying to make us do a lot of changing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. William Mark McCullough played Boston Corbett in the
I don't know who that is.
Apple TV show. I'm trying to find something that he was in that we would actually know. And the answer is not much.
Punk Twaddle's coming after you right now.
You know, I'm not the only one who confuses Gary Busey with Nick Nolte. They have a lot of similar features, and they're both kind of crazy.
The easiest way to tell Gary Busey is just look for the teeth.
The front teeth. It's the same teeth that his son has
Yeah, I was about to say you could get him mixed up with the son.
from Starship Troopers,
Jake Busey.
amongst other things.
You know, they both have crazy hair. They've
Do you get what's the name of that horror convention in New Jersey?
ChillerCon.
There's a horror convention in
that
New
just sounds
Jersey?
like going to
It's-
New Jersey.
No, it's one of the biggest horror conventions that they
Yeah,
have.
I think it's
horror.
horror.
Okay.
Okay.
Horror,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Different.
believe it's ChillerCon.
Yeah, so Jake Busey, right after he had gotten out of rehab, like the same year, went to that convention. And I had a friend from high school who was absolutely committed to try to get him to take a drink. And eventually
Wow.
did. Yeah,
What a nice guy.
Yeah, no, we trust me, we yelled at this guy. We were like, "You're an asshole. You can't do that." He was like, I bought a drink for him. He wouldn't take it. I was like, he just got out of rehab, you asshole.
And it runs in his family.
The
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with you, man?
Some people
Yeah.
just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I guess he was there because of Frighteners. That's like where he goes to the horror conventions. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Jake
horror
Busey-
convention happens in Vegas.
I would have said like late 90s, Jake Busey could have been a Boston Corbett actor too if they were making the movie. He had that crazy look. All right, so while this is going on, the attack on Fort Sumner, Booth was performing in Albany, New York, and interrupted his own performance to call the attack heroic.
So he's a celebrity
wow.
with a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think I know a lot of actors in modern day that are like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah,
The award show.
and much
It's
like
always
How
been
they
assholes.
haven't changed in over 100 years.
much like modern actors, Pedro Booth was angered
Golf clubs.
angered the Northerners if we're saying this, but due to his charm and looks, continued to book jobs.
That is whatever. Go on.
In 1862, he was arrested in St. Louis for saying he wished the president and government would, quote, go to hell. He was charged with treasonous remarks, but released after he swore allegiance to the Union, because someone might not lie, wouldn't lie about that.
I
So,
think we had more trust in our criminals then.
he's a professional actor, Matt.
Oh, damn it.
I
Good
mean,
point.
Hold on.
I
Hey,
kind of feel like this is
We
a
also-
free speech situation, though. As a free speech absolutist, I'm kind of okay with it.
by November 9th, 1863, Booth was performing at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., where Lincoln had a presidential box. And at this time, Booth gestured
name for his
threateningly
wife.
towards Lincoln during the play he was in, pointing and uttering
Hold on,
threats.
Imp actually had a good joke, and you guys read right over top of it.
Well, because he was
You
trying to go.
guys.
It's just
Well,
me.
yeah.
Go ahead, Imp. We're all listening.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's not a nice name for his wife.
The presidential,
Presidential
box.
box.
I get it now.
I think you guys are grading on a curve.
Well, it
I
is
mean,
Imp. Yeah.
Have you seen the bottom row?
He gets...
No.
Imp tried.
Oh,
Imp
yeah.
tried.
He did. He
No.
said something good. I just assumed I just existed. You know.
All right.
I don't
fine.
know. Maybe
Effort.
between
Punk's
this,
going to work his way there.
Well, no, I'll just say it now. But between this thing, the joke we just made about the president's wife, the president's box, and Brahma's story, now I feel like a box cutter is a completely different thing.
Boston
Well, you
Corbett
got
could have
there.
made those.
A
He's
for
an
effort.
expert. Yeah.
Can't get any lower, but I gotta laugh.
A box cutter would be better than a scissors if you were trying to open up the coin purse and remove the...
I don't even think box cutters existed at that point.
They
Airplanes
had
didn't
to, I
exist.
Oh,
They had
Matt, you
boxes.
asshole.
Wait, Matt, are you saying they didn't have boxes back then?
No, the joke was a 9/11 joke.
Was it? Did I miss the...
They didn't even have airplanes back then.
Yeah, there was no need for box cutters.
Okay. Wow, that's dark.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
really.
You gonna call Ghostbusters?
It's like, look, I'm all for moving Imp up for calling Mary Todd the presidential box, but clearly Mad's joke is over the line.
Too soon, man. It's only been 24 years.
What was that South?
That is so amazing.
Thought that would be more.
Oh
like
man, I want chat music to do a special on Gary Busey. There we go. That would
Okay,
be
all right.
good.
So
All right. Yeah, so
Pedro Booth.
Pedro Booth took the opportunity while performing at Ford's Theater in 1863. He stayed in character, but looked directly at President Lincoln and started pointing and uttering threats, alarming a witness who remarked it seemed personal. Lincoln even noted that Booth looked pretty sharply at him.
God damn. Yeah, no, yeah, it's a little weird about that, right? Oh well, he's
Booth's
a great actor.
hatred
Lincoln
for-
noted
So
this, but
handsome.
said, I'm going to go see him in another show later.
Yeah, Booth's hatred for Lincoln only grew because he was
That was
frustrated.
after he got arrested, though.
Yeah, he had sworn allegiance. He was cool.
Man, Secret Service, they've always been on their game.
Didn't exist yet. Secret Service was created after.
Clearly.
But, like my granddaddy always said, don't ever let the truth get in the way of a good joke.
I think Grant was the one who created the Secret Service.
This is
specifically.
why we need time Secret Service so that
Well,
they
there
can go
was a-
back
There was
and
also
prevent this
where,
injustice.
there's also that point where they said don't let the Secret Service get in the way of.
I mean, that could be a permanent spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Booth's hatred was actually increasing due to his frustration because his mother demanded that he would never join the Confederate Army. I mean, he's a guy making $500,000 equivalent a year, and he wants to go join the Confederate Army. I can't imagine why his mother would say that's a stupid idea.
Oh,
But-
if only I wasn't such an honorable man and will do what my mom says. I want to join, guys. I really do. Because, I believe in this as much as anybody. And I'd be
Mom
right there with
said
you on the front
no.
line. But damn it.
He's like, he's like, he channeled Forrest Gump. My mama said I'm not allowed to join the Confederacy.
See, this is the difference between them because Lincoln's mama died a long time ago
From milk sickness.
milk sickness, but his mama was alive, so it changed.
Oh, yeah.
because
They
of
could have
the
been
mama.
on different
No.
paths.
Yeah, Booth
Huh?
was completely.
Lincoln's mama died a long time ago because she was an intolerant bitch.
True.
It
But-
affected them differently because
Yeah.
one had a mother and one didn't. Like,
Fucking John Booth is like, oh, guys, no, I made her that promise before the war ever started. I didn't know it was going to come up.
Yeah, and then John met a girl named Jenny who convinced him that he should really do something with his life.
yeah,
Handmaids.
Wow.
Oh wow! Oh no!
Oh, I brought 2 beers for this one. I might have to go grab a third.
All right. So Lincoln was still dealing with grief at this point in his life because in 1862 his son Willie died at age 11, and that devastated Lincoln, Abraham, and Mary Todd Lincoln. Lincoln, in fact, even locked himself in a room, and when a reverend came to comfort him, saying Willie was alive in paradise, Lincoln leapt up shouting, "Alive, surely you mock me!" Before he
Oh, we're
was
talking about
able-
Willie?
Yep.
Yeah,
before he-
Willie.
he calmed
Oh, sorry.
down.
I was looking at my text because somebody said they're going to give me a drink.
Oh, has the drink not arrived?
No, it is not.
Maybe someone's trying to figure out what kind of drink you can tolerate and not be
Sounds like
intolerant of.
somebody's being intolerant, and you need to take care of that.
Here's your milk, Mad. That's what you're going to get. Willie's dead.
Oh
Willie
no,
died.
Willie! He was my favorite one.
So
He had the most promise.
This led the Lincolns to befriending a spiritualist named Charles Colchester. The Lincoln was
That's a
skeptical.
made-up name.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
okay, pause. The Lincolns didn't befriend the spiritualist. This was very much the presidential box befriended a spiritualist.
Yes, yeah.
So, Mary Todd, presidential box, befriended a spiritualist named Charles Colchester, although Abraham Lincoln was skeptical and asked a museum friend to investigate his methods.
This was
gonna be
basically America's Rasputin.
Wait, so you telling me Abraham Lincoln used government officials to investigate a personal matter?
I mean, amongst other things, yes. Lincoln was well known for, whether it was Lincoln directly or his cabinet ministers, cabinet secretaries.
Lincoln had to do a lot of things that weren't quite by the book. He was kind of going by Pirates Code, where it's more of a guideline, really.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you know that there was turpentine in his cabinet too?
If only Lincoln had yelled "Parlay" when John opened that box at Ford's Theater.
Pirate Code.
God, Pirate Code. I have to stop. All right. Colchester was actually a friend of Booth.
No.
And it gave Lincoln a warning about his safety. So
wait,
I mean, at least he might have been friends with Booth, but he was like, "Hey, Abe, you might want to watch out for this guy."
That guy that hates you and like every time he sees you draws his finger across his throat and points at you.
Right, the handsome guy? Love him.
Basically, for anybody
you.
who's seen Family Guy, John Wilkes Booth was acting like the angry monkey staring at
staring at Chris.
He's such a good actor. I believe he's going to try to kill me. He has me convinced.
He's a method actor.
It's like, Mary Todd, I hate this play, but he's just so damn good.
He's so handsome.
I am an actor.
You know, that would lead into some alleged proclivities from Abraham Lincoln. But
Now we've gone over to Zoolander, and I'm picturing Abraham Lincoln as Will Ferrell going, he's so hot right now.
wait, didn't Zoolander say John Wilkes Booth was a model / actor? And that's why he was an assassin.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he
Yep.
was.
It's all tying together.
Yeah.
It was like, wait a second.
Jockey, not like those Space and Nutty
It was
boys.
like Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't a model. Yeah, but those two guys on the grassy knoll sure as shit were. All right. At this time, Corbett, we're returning to Corbett now, enlisted in the 12th New York Volunteers, telling his prayer group that he'd kill Confederates after praying for their souls. Which is, that's not. He's
sweet.
basically Barry Pepper from Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
in the army, he prayed.
Maybe you should kill them first and pray for their souls afterwards. This seems a little out of order.
Well, they don't say how long. Like, he can pray the night before a battle.
Okay.
Or during
I was
the
going to
shooting.
say, because if you run up to the Confederates and you're like, wait, and you drop down to your knees and start praying.
Or he's got a 308 rifle and he prays as he's looking down the scope and shooting people.
Maybe it's just a short prayer, like a little chant.
Yeah, like, amen.
Wait, what? Wait.
Well,
what
no,
is
he
this
would
in,
for mass forgiveness for that that day's killings.
No, he would yell amen though, so everyone could hear it.
What's the prayer in Boondock Saints?
By the way, real quick, Shredder wants to know:
Something
have we
for thee,
discussed?
my Lord, for thee?
Shredder wants to know: have we discussed the possible Jewishness of John Wilkes Booth?
Could
We
Shredder
haven't
realize
gone that
that?
route yet.
Like, I don't. No, that is not in this story, and Shredder needs to just calm down.
Well, I mean,
Is she gonna go protest for Hamas while she's at it?
She said it at home.
Shredder with the hard R.
if it is like the
Shredder's
prequel to
like, do you
Hollywood-
know Do you know that actors are in league with them, Mad?
Yeah, she's like, who was John Wilkes Booth's masseuse? She's been watching a lot of Candace Owens.
Yeah,
Originally,
did you know?
John Wilkes Booth didn't want to use a handgun to kill Lincoln. He wanted to use the space laser.
No,
But it was cranked,
Shredder's
though,
gonna
back
be like,
then.
I watched Candace Owens' special on John Wilkes Booth's manager. Who did you know what he was, Mad? You know what he is.
Well,
And he booked John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater on purpose.
Look, all I'm saying is when I see John Wilkes Booth, my Judar goes off.
look, Abe was so tall that if
Instead of
they
radar.
got Jaws to try and off him, it will look like two proportional human beings. The whole thing would be offset and neutralized, and it wouldn't be as dynamic.
Listen, John Wilkes Booth's manager's last name was Corbett Stein.
Where are we at? What?
All right, so John Corbett is enlisted in the
Boston
Union
Corbett.
Army. Boston Corbett. Yeah. Boston Corbett's in the Union Army. He's going to pray for the souls of the Confederates he murders.
He murders? I don't.
It's
Come
not
on.
murder.
It's not murder.
No, I'm pretty sure that for
Murder.
Corbett's not going to wait for a standing battle. He's just going to go find them and slit their necks in their sleep or something. He seems like
I
a
do
not
it
It's
for
still not
altogether-
murder. That's still an act of war.
I
why
slit
don't
your
you go
third
guerrilla?
for the Lorder.
So in the army, he prayed constantly, clashed with authority, believing only God was his superior, and he was often.
Hold on. Before Corbett, it was actually just called Murd. What are you doing? I'm off to murder for the lurder.
That sounds better than murder.
Oh, it was. Is he a precursor to the Swedish Chef?
Murder, 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 murder.
So, all right, I'm going to say that I'm going to read this description again, and I want
Okay.
you guys on the panel who are not named Mad to comment
Okay.
if this may have also been something that could have been written in someone else's army record.
Don't care for this.
Oh.
Clashed with authority, believing only God was his superior, was often punished. No. I
I
left
thought
out
you
the
were
part.
still going.
No, well, because he was punished with a knapsack of bricks being used against him. I'm pretty sure that may have been removed from an option in the modern army.
We
Yeah,
use
it's a
soap.
softer arm.
Although I
now.
hear Pete Hegseth wants to bring it back. You know, it's
Having to
about
peel
ready.
up potatoes.
It's about readiness, man. You're going to be
Yes.
ready if you're faced with getting a knapsack of bricks thrown at you.
I mean, yeah, it's a motivator.
I believe we called that a code red.
So Boston would berate other soldiers for sinning, once even confronting Colonel Daniel Butterfield for breaking God's law during a parade and refusing.
Wait. So he was going to his commanding officers. And
I
being
think it
like,
was his
You gotta
commander.
get right with
No,
Jesus.
no, he's like a private. He's
Yeah, it was
moving
his
up several
commanding
levels.
officers, commanding officers, commanding officers.
This would be going to like your division.
Yeah.
Like, he's
With
going
all
like,
due respect, sir.
I said with all due respect.
The commanders are like, why couldn't we have just gotten some of those normal pacifist Christians?
The colonel or
So remember,
do we have a cannon big enough to stuff him in it.
Yeah,
Because
during-
I'm done with this
during the
One
guy.
thing
Civil
that got
War,
left
they would
out-
have had full ranks. So he's like a private. So there would have been a sergeant,
yeah.
a sergeant major.
Yeah.
Then we'd have a lieutenant, a captain, a major, before we
A
get
lieutenant
to the
colonel.
a lieutenant colonel before we get to the colonel level.
Yeah, there's the power yeah. But real
Although
quick,
I'm-
one thing that wasn't in there was that he would also, because you would get whiskey as part of your rations or whatever, and instead of
Najaro? Nothing.
instead of giving it to somebody, he would pour it out.
That's poor
What
form.
a dick!
Yeah, yeah.
For all my
But wait,
homies.
he's the hero of the
during
story.
The beer days when I didn't drink, I would give my 2 beers to somebody else. You know.
You guys thought I was angry last night.
This dude just dumped it out.
So yeah,
Did,
so
did he at least say he was pouring it out for the homies?
For the homers.
for the homers.
Home ears.
Hey, no, this is during his prayer for the people that he would, you know, the
Getting
soul
ready
that-
to
yeah, murder.
yeah. Chad.
All right, so at this point he's going after Colonel Daniel Butterfield for breaking God's law during a parade.
What did he do?
I don't know. It's not in here. I want to know what God's law he broke.
Did he like wave his private parts at their aunties or something?
And he wouldn't have had to wave them. I mean, this guy just gets upset if you get aroused.
No, but maybe that was the problem. Maybe he was like, Colonel Butterfield, how dare you have testicles?
Yes.
Why haven't you cut that ball sack open with the scissors yet and removed those things?
My dear sir, why are you
If you-
still intact?
If
My
you
dear
get your
sir.
adjutant to bring scissors, I will correct this flaw. He refused to apologize to the colonel unless Butterfield sought God's pardon.
What?
Colonel Butterfield.
Wow.
So Colonel Butterfield actually just released him because I think at that point you're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, there's
man.
nothing I could do that could.
Or he may have thought this guy's just crazy enough to be effective.
This guy already cut off his own balls. If I have him punished, it's not like it's gonna bother him any.
There is a weird thing where like somebody like that will, you know, those high-ranking officers are like, God damn, we need more. If we had an army of these guys, this war would be over tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Forrest Gump is a perfect example.
God damn it, Gump, you're officer material.
Exactly.
There are guys like that throughout history. So, yeah.
Yeah, he probably respected him.
Do you know that's what one of the main plot points that just never sat well with me with Forrest Gump? This kid, I mean, obviously Forrest is special, but he graduated from a university, voluntarily joined the U.S. military during Vietnam with a degree, and they put him in as a private. I was like, no, he would have, if the recruiter was trying to meet his quotas, he would have been an OCS. But I don't know. This seems kind of weird to me.
Oh, well, that whole movie falls apart for me now. Thanks.
Actually, I don't think he could have been an officer. I think the only reason he got in was because they lowered the minimum IQ scores to get people in.
That's true too.
He wasn't
wouldn't-
like you can't be an officer if you're rocking like an 86 IQ.
But he
They just
graduated
won't
from
let you do
college.
it.
They wouldn't
That
run an
doesn't
IQ
explain
test.
most of the uppers right now.
It doesn't, but it's a thing, right? Like he doesn't have the baseline intelligence. They probably still wouldn't let him be an officer.
Plot hole fix. Moving on.
They should have
movie's
made him
great again.
recruiter at every person that came in. He just has, so are you smart or are you like me?
Do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
When he was recruiting, his first question was, "Are you smart or did you already bang Jenny?" So, anyway,
I got
so
these bumps I need you to look at. Go on.
So Butterfield let him through. So Corbett had threatened to quit, but luckily he didn't have to because he was court-martialed for abandoning picket duty, fined 2 months' pay, and removed from service. Despite
You
vowing
can
to leave,
quit in this military?
no, it would have been
No.
desertion. But
I was gonna say that must be nice.
despite vowing to leave, he just decided he should re-enlist.
Let me try again.
This dude's whole life is reverse psychology. It's like you should quit. Now I'm not gonna quit.
Well, not
I
gonna
think
quit.
it's psychopathy.
In fact, I'm going to sign up for more years.
So after re-enlisting, he was captured by Stonewall Jackson at Harper's Ferry,
Fuck.
but just was released.
He's
Stonewall
harmless.
Jackson apparently had other things to do,
Oh,
so he let him go.
wait. Is it not the part where he was just shooting at them?
Nope, that comes
Okay,
now.
sorry. Damn it, that was supposed to be in there. All right. So what happened was they were just hanging out and they got surprised by Stonewall Jackson's people or whatever, and everybody gave up except for him. And he's on one side of the fence, just reloading his musket and shooting at them. And whoever was in charge was like, nobody shoot him, because they were so impressed by his ballsiness to stand out there by himself until he was out of ammo. And that's why he
He
was
doesn't even have
released.
balls.
He's ballless.
Yeah.
So
I
what you're
admire the
saying is
balls
that
on that man.
this was basically exactly the scenario you gave, but for the other side, like, God damn, That man
Yes.
is admirable. Look at him. He is the warrior soul.
Yes, exactly.
Meanwhile, he's actually like mad, and he's like, "I don't even have balls anymore. Somebody please shoot me."
Yeah,
The
that's why he
generals
was
on the other
released
side are
there.
like, we're turning everybody into eunuchs. These guys fear nothing.
Honestly, once your balls are gone, what would you fear? Would you worry about
Somebody
dying?
touching that area.
I mean, you can just get goat implants and nobody.
Yes. So in 1864, he joined up another New York regiment. He joined the 16th New York Cavalry, specifically tasked with hunting Confederate raider John Mosby. In June, Mosby's men had ambushed Corbett's unit, and alone Corbett fired 12 shots, refusing to surrender.
Oh,
I think
never
this
mind.
is the
That's
part
where
you're
it
talking
was.
about. Mosby was impressed and spared him, but it wasn't really a good offer because he ended up being sent to Andersonville prison in Georgia.
yeah, that's right.
Anderson was renowned for being the worst prison camp in the entire Civil War. It was a brutal camp where 13,000 of 45,000 prisoners held there died.
Wait,
of
how many of
disease.
what?
13 of 45,000.
13,000 of
Those-
45.
So
Those aren't good.
almost 25%.
Yep.
Oh boy.
The prisoners died of disease, malnutrition, exposure. There's a
Wait,
really
of 45,000?
so there were a total of 45,000 prisoners held there,
Okay,
and
so that's actually
13,000
closer
there.
to a third. If
Yep.
it's 13,000 of 45,000.
Yep,
Yeah, that's rough.
it's 28.8%.
Yeah, about
died.
1 in 3 people.
Yep. So Corbett managed to survive his time there, preaching and comforting prisoners.
Okay, hold on.
Well, I mean, he's
I'm-
not going to get any venereal diseases. Who's he going to fuck?
I'm gonna call
Yeah.
bullshit on my own story that I put together. There's no fucking way that everything we've heard of this motherfucker, he was comforting anyone. At best,
You-
they
you-
thought maybe
No,
he'll just
dude.
drive the guards in crazy and we can get out of here.
No, he asked himself when he got there. He's like, "What would Jesus do?" And he's like, "I'll provide comfort to these people."
Oh, I'm sure that was his intent. Could you imagine if he caught another prisoner like jerking it in the middle of the night, what he would do?
Oh man.
Look on with jealousy.
No, he would tell them they were sinning, and then he
Yeah, you're breaking God's law.
No, I will not apologize to you. I will be reporting you to the guards tomorrow morning, and they should only forgive you after you beg for God's forgiveness.
Where's that sack of bricks?
Yeah, you should only have a frank, but no beans.
That's why a third of them died. It was because Corbin was ratting everybody out.
True. Chad.
All right.
Well, it is
He's
symbolic,
like,
right?
he's like, listen, warden, I know snitches get stitches, but Bill, he jerked off on your hat last night. It was very unchristian of him.
You know what else
Send
gets
'em to-
stitches? Empty ball sacks.
No, they don't. They're
Oh.
just left to heal on their own.
You think they kept a sack, even though it was empty,
You think he kept the testicles?
like in a jar?
Like, did he wear them on a necklace or something?
This is to always remind me to keep God's law.
It's a roll of the dice.
This story is starting to
I-
morph
wait.
into Dan to Dan for Slender over here.
Hold on. But when I was in the war, though, I had to duct tape them together so that people wouldn't hear them clank.
Because they are brass balls. You got to
Yeah,
give
like-
them that.
Like
Well, it is a coin purse. So.
like dog tags. You know, you have to hit it.
Yep.
It was good.
All right. So
I couldn't afford dog tag.
eventually, Corbett was involved in a prisoner exchange that freed him because he had contracted a severe case of scurvy, diarrhea, and fever. So the Confederates exchanged him because they were pretty sure he was going to die.
Yeah.
So after 3 weeks in a hospital, he recovered, but he took 30 days leave, as you would.
All of this didn't happen out in the wilderness where he could just make up the whole fucking story.
No, I mean, any soldier
I'm
was
calling back to our first episode.
yeah.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
Listen, all of that was proved and legitimate and irrefutable.
All of that was proven by the fact that he was the only survivor of every scenario,
Not
and therefore,
every time.
yeah,
I'm
and
sure
all the
everybody who was
crazy.
set on fire via pine needles was sitting there saying that.
Well, he shouldn't
couldn't.
have. He should have had stuff to trade with the Indians.
Yeah, you got to keep that vermilion on you.
Your vermilion sense has to tingle. So Corbett's on leave now after the prisoner exchange and recovering in the hospital. Booth, on the other hand, is now even more frustrated because Lincoln cruised to re-election, and he's still not allowed
Dead.
by his mommy to fight in the war.
God, she still won't let me, guys. I swear, I want to go with you.
And even worse than that, he invested all of his savings in a Pennsylvania oil company, but it was lost when dynamite ruined the well. So
That
bear in
can
mind
happen.
that Mr. For the cause, Mr. Confederacy, decided he was going to invest in a Pennsylvania oil company. It's all these
you
actors
trying
are
to
always
say that this actor somehow, this hypocrite, this could, be used as a story about actors and how they haven't changed whatsoever, and there's parallels between him and I don't know.
George
Name
Clooney,
an
Pedro
actor.
Pascal.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems
Matt
like
Damon.
it seems like the mentality, the public face, while privately just doing exactly the opposite. The condescension, the arrogance. Yeah, they all seem pretty similar.
Are you saying this is similar to somebody that's like, oh, I'm a socialist? You have a $500,000 house that you live in.
I mean, that's not an actor, but yes.
No, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like he believes in
Oh,
the
yeah.
cause so much, but he doesn't follow said ideology.
I mean, I believe in the cause so vehemently that as long as you never ask me to sacrifice for it, I'll support you.
Well, he's good at being the poster child and the person that's right.
The recruiter, the poster child, the public face.
Mhm.
Again, the George Clooney.
Oh, the Wasabi, what's his name?
I mean, you could make a case that the 2024 version of
Baker?
Yeah, that's it.
John Wilkes Booth was what George Clooney
Or, I
did
guess,
to Joe Biden with his
Wasabi?
op-ed.
Ooh,
He basically,
yeah. Called it
rhetorically,
out.
he rhetorically murdered a president.
Well, that's
Hey, we're
what the
getting-
public thinks.
We're getting into other topics. We got to finish the story.
All
Yep,
right.
yep.
So
Lincoln's still kicking around here.
What?
yeah. So
This doesn't end till Lincoln's dead.
Oh,
so-
okay.
He dies.
What?
Bravo.
Spoilers,
What?
guys.
Yeah. So Wilkes Booth is performing less and was going into debt. So he actually joined, because he couldn't go on active duty, the Confederate Secret Service, meeting agents in Canada, Boston, and Maryland. They
So
concocted
No one knew about them, and they never did anything.
a plan for him to kidnap Lincoln and Richmond to exchange for Confederate prisoners. And so John Wilkes Booth assembled a crew that met at Mary Stewart's Baltimore boarding house.
Can I ask, was one of their advisors like, oh, no, trust me, this idea was going to work. You just kidnapped them. Next one.
Us Fenians have been doing it forever.
No, I mean, he basically, again, this is George Clooney in 1860s. He's pulling an Ocean's 11. He's pulling his crew in. They're going to come
Well,
up
it
with
sounds
some...
a little Finian-like.
Yeah.
In terms of results, it
sound
was
Finian.
100% Finian. Well, no, I take that back. He managed to...
Well, let's get there.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so... So
Just
Robert
like Clooney, he had a guy on his crew that was just like Matt Damon.
So Robert E. Lee's April 1865 surrender ended the kidnapping plan. Booth, enraged by Lincoln's April 11th speech advocating for black voting rights from a White House window, vowed it would be his last, yelling to accomplice David Harold, "I'll put him through."
You think he's just workshopping speeches? Like he's at the window. He's like, hey, let me run this one by you. I think it's like,
I mean, I don't think Lincoln knew that his speech, Fortnite in 7 years would be so prominent. Fortnite in 7 years ago would be so prominent now because now we're having the parallel.
Fourscore, not the video game Fortnite.
No, Fortnite is 7 years old. I mean, the parallels are here, guys. I got more red yarn.
4 Fortnites.
Only
So
because you
I've
saved
noted-
it.
I've noticed something else about this, though, right? John Wilkes Booth and Abraham Lincoln, somehow before the advent of the internet, this is the first parasocial relationship.
Oh.
Like, Abraham Lincoln doesn't even know who the fuck this guy
Well,
is.
no, he does.
Well, he loves his acting.
the-
He goes to see him.
He's the country's most handsome actor.
Yeah,
I mean-
but, like, they don't know each other.
But he gets that.
Lincoln loved him in Men Who Stare at Ghosts.
Lincoln's like, yeah, like Lincoln looks at him like a super chatter.
Well, I mean, he does, he tries to get into his DMs because he calls him out from stage, but Lincoln just thinks he's just a good actor.
Yeah.
He's just like really sticking it to the man.
Abraham Lincoln, man, we should collaborate sometime. Yeah, sure.
You want to come on my YouTube channel?
You want to
Why
be a
won't you
special guest in my
collaborate with
cabinet?
me?
We could do some TikToks.
All right, so on April 14th, Booth learned at Ford's Theater, where he collected mail, that Lincoln, Mary Todd, Ulysses S. Grant, and Julia Grant would be attending that evening's play. So Booth came up with a plan to assassinate Lincoln, Vice President Andrew Johnson, Secretary of State William Seward, and Grant that
Dude,
evening.
good luck taking down Grant.
Yeah.
So he set up a getaway horse and drilled a spy hole in the presidential box
Getaway horse.
door.
Dude, he put a glory hole in the presidential box?
It might have just been a peephole.
Yeah, it was
I
more
think
of
the
a people.
presidential box we've already established already had a glory hole.
Hey, Mary Todd, what's that?
Hey, I wonder if he made sure to rotate the horseshoes on his getaway horse. Because you got to do that, right? Because
That is a worry.
there
All
was
right.
something there.
You should have workshopped that before the show.
I don't know how you workshop that one. It's got to be in the moment, organic. Mad's really good at that generally, but not this time.
There's something there. I was thinking rotating udders, but I was like, well, a horse doesn't have udders. That's not going to make sense.
You know that he would never do that because it would make Abraham, like, he wants to kill Abraham Lincoln. He doesn't want to traumatize him by making him rethink about his mother who died of the milk sickness.
If he dressed up like a cow and he goes moo instead of the dumb shit he does say.
No,
Well,
he
you mean
said
the state
chicken.
motto of Virginia? Yeah.
I guarantee you the horse was probably a gelding, though. That's to tie in with Boston.
Oh, you don't know where the tie-in's coming. It's going to come there. All right. So Booth's plan was, again, to assassinate basically the entire line of succession. So he assigned Lewis Powell, a former Mosby's ranger, to kill Seward, and George Asterode. How do you pronounce his last name?
I don't fucking know.
You're
To
asking
kill-
Matt to pronounce something?
To kill Johnson. So Booth left a note at Johnson's hotel. Again, this is to lure him out. I don't wish to disturb you. Are you home, John Wilkes Booth? Because he's famous. It would get his attention.
Like, oh shit, look who just retweeted me.
But unfortunately for Booth, George Asterode was a coward and he was unable to kill Johnson and instead chose to get drunk at the hotel bar. He discarded his knife, wandered Washington, D.C. streets, and checked into another hotel.
Now that's sounding Finian-like.
Powell, on the other hand, armed with a revolver and a Bowie knife, entered Seward's home, where Seward was laying bedridden from a carriage accident, suffering a concussion, broken jaw, and broken arm. Powell proceeded to stab Seward's son Fred after Fred grew suspicious, beat him with a misfired gun that broke, and stabbed Seward in the face and neck, hitting his jaw splint. So Powell has now stabbed Seward's son, then beat him with the misfired gun that broke. Then he found Seward and stabbed him in the face and neck.
Yep.
But he hit the jaw splint that was there from his treatment.
From his
Everyone
accident.
lived.
Yeah, Seward fell behind the bed out of reach. Then Powell, trying to get out of the house, stabbed Seward's daughter, a sergeant, another son of Seward, and a messenger delivering a telegram.
Hey man, I got shit to do with this. Stab, stab, stab.
This is the robot on Futurama with the knife.
I'm the stabbing robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them lived. He didn't kill a single motherfucker.
Yeah, so as he runs away, he starts shouting, "I'm mad, I'm mad."
It wasn't me though.
I was the one I man.
Because he's like, because that's my name and that's what the people call me.
Fuck off. That's not. It wasn't me. I wasn't there.
Harold, who was waiting with the getaway horses, fled when he heard the screaming begin. Amazingly, none of Powell's victims died.
Oh, I didn't know that was in there. Yeah, dude. Like, he's laying there and his daughter comes in and he's like, "What the fuck? Just fucking call someone." My God. He gets pissed off because he's there bleeding. Anyway.
Well, so is everybody else.
Sure. He had a Bowie knife when he did that?
Yep. That's
You know how big
that is
those
not a
fucking
small knife.
No.
That's like a 7-inch blade.
But he only
it
had
had
the
to be
arm
dull,
strength to
something.
penetrate 2 inches.
So you're saying he was like he was was a little bit limp-wristed. Stab.
I'm stabbing you. You're dying.
I'm mad. I'm mad. Don't you know I'm mad? I'm
I'm
gonna
so
stab
mad.
you. I'm gonna stab you. He's like, oh, why is a girl here? You're getting stabbed just for being here.
Ew, growth. You're a breeder.
My package was late.
So back at
Stabs.
So
back-
she walked into the room and he yelled at her for not calling someone. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, you were all doing it, so I thought maybe it was a thing.
He just turns to his daughter. You're used to bleeding. Call somebody.
Oh.
We're not supposed to do that once a month.
Look, I don't
Not
know a
my
lot about
time.
women. I don't know a lot about women and their problems, but I think you've got another 4.5 days before this is an issue.
Before it's a problem.
Go get somebody. So back at Ford's Theater.
everything's been going.
So much for
Yeah.
the misogyny being off the channel.
Yeah.
Hey, that wasn't me.
It's back, baby.
No, it wasn't us. It was the Confederates who were misogynist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
His voice
and
in there.
Seward, who was
Bad
the
guys. We're making fun of the bad guys.
and Seward, who was the
Secretary.
Secretary of
Making
State.
fun of the presidential box, too.
Wait, we're making fun of Lincoln?
We will eventually, but
No, wait, what?
What?
what? Why
We're making
wouldn't
fun
we?
of the bad guys?
No, don't you start,
You-
Mad.
You leave our state hero alone.
It's like Mad's war between the states still hasn't ended. Texas was part of the Confederacy.
It was about state rights. Go on. Don't read what we said. Just
Look, I
Believe what
I
we say
spend
now.
I spend most of
I'm
my
resisting
childhood.
the urge because last time I got yelled at for it.
All right,
But anyway,
at Ford's Theater, Lincoln was in a great mood,
accept it.
anticipating peace as the war had finally ended. However, for Booth's plan fell apart slightly because Julia Grant, because of her massive dislike of the presidential box, Mary Todd Lincoln, declined to attend. So instead, Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancée joined the Lincolns.
you know, it
Thus
almost feels
began the
like
designated
Mad,
survivor.
It almost feels like Mad wrote that in, but Chad is doing such a good job editing on the fly that he is now referring to Mary Todd Lincoln as the presidential box every time.
Yes,
I
that
just
is
want to point out his incredible reading skills for this.
there might have been a find and replace.
Yeah, but that's what the presidential box said after Lincoln got shot in the back of the head.
I thought it was funny. Anyway, all right. So let's just take a moment to appreciate that Julia Grant's absolute visceral dislike of Mary Todd saved her and her husband. So,
Fair enough.
Is that why they didn't show up?
yeah, because they didn't.
Yeah.
This was like Real Housewives of the Civil War.
If
Julia,
the presidential box talks about her dead son Willie one more time,
I get it. He died. We all have kids who died. Do you think none of us have had that issue?
it's the late 1800s? Question mark. We all have dead kids.
It's like, boo hoo. 3 out of 4 of my sons have died. Wah, wah, wah. Jeez, Mary Todd. Can't you get over it?
Oh, Willie's dead. And then Corbett comes running in and goes, you know what? That's my Willie may as well be dead because he's got no balls anymore.
My Willier should be deader.
Willier.
All right, so
He used to be a baller.
now at this point,
That one
Yeah.
actually broke me.
If
John
you,
Wilkes Booth does run into a stroke of luck in that Lincoln's bodyguard, John Parker, left during intermission to just go get drunk at a saloon.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. He was in on it.
He was, yeah. Just like the cameras didn't work in Epstein's cell, and the guards both fell asleep.
All right,
Or
so
the roof was sloped so nobody could be on it.
all right,
Yeah.
so
And Trump was assigned a whole bunch of short women.
So here we go. Let me edit on the fly again. Lincoln's bodyguard, Building 7, left during intermission to drink at a saloon. So when the play resumed during a comedic line, "You sock dolagozing old man trap," which prompted laughter in the crowd, Booth entered the box, peered through the spy hole he had made earlier, and proceeded to shoot Lincoln in the back of the head.
Oh no.
Major
Hope he's
Rathbone, Major Rathbone lunged, but Booth stabbed him.
Did he get
Then-
up and say fight, fight, fight?
No,
It
because
didn't quite play out that way this time.
Lincoln wasn't saying much after this. So Booth then leapt from the presidential box and then moved forward and jumped to the stage.
Snapped his ankle.
No, he didn't.
No, not then. Raised
No.
his knife and yelled, "Sic semper tyrannis." It's a widely misconceived thing that's when he hurt his leg. So he yelled "Sic semper tyrannis," the state motto of Virginia in Latin, meaning "thus always to tyrants." That's why the Virginia flag shows a person killing someone
Wait,
else.
what? Really?
Yeah, you've never seen the Virginia flag where
It's
it's
also got a boob on it.
yeah, where it's
That
I
sounds
think
like a
it's
very busy flag.
it's Athena standing over a tyrant with a spear.
Oh,
with
yeah, I
them
have seen it.
And it
Yeah.
says "Sic semper tyrannis."
um,
By the way, the other state motto of Virginia is love.
For lovers, but God help
Virginia
you.
is for lovers.
One-sided.
We're like the basis for that Netflix show. You're gonna love us, or you're gonna have a problem. All right, so Booth escaped through a side door to an alley where Joseph Peanuts Burroughs held his horse. The horse was known to be unruly, and I don't know why they chose this one to be the getaway horse.
Right? Like, what horse do you want? The fast and obedient, or the unruly?
Yeah, because
Or the number 1 rated horse in rodeo.
We call that one over there Iceman, because that's how he runs. Like
Ice cold, no mistakes.
Maverick probably don't want Maverick. Oh, I'll take Maverick.
All right, Goose. Good luck.
I'll be your wingman.
All right. So what happened to Goose?
So as Booth is leaving on this unruly horse, this horse falls on him approximately 9 times on his way out of Washington. This is what led to his
Wait,
broken
did the
leg.
horse go get drunk with the bodyguard?
Apparently. Whiskey for my horses.
Who was the horse's agent?
Oh, good lord! It's like Kelsey Grammer falling off the stage in that one clip. All right,
9 times.
9 times. So, Booth is making his escape on the unruly horse, which breaks his leg. An army surgeon named Dr. Charles Leal found Lincoln's comatose body, barely breathing, with no pulse, in the theater. Ordered brandy and water, and carried Lincoln's body across the street
Sorry.
to the Peterson house.
Sorry. While you're quick, I'll scoop up the brains. You go get brandy and water.
The brandy's for me. The water's for him.
Oh, man, it might also be the most common disinfectant available. Yeah, but yeah, that could be it.
Okay, let me start again. Quick, I will scoop up the brains. Go get the brandy and water.
Oh,
We've got to put these pieces of brain into the brandy to keep them sterile.
It's not like people haven't survived crazy things. You ever remember that story of the guy who had like the railroad rod that go through his
Yes,
brain?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And his personality changed.
Changed radically.
I mean, who knew that having a rod driven through your skull might do that? But it'd make you a grumpy
We may
man
do that story sometime.
with no self control anymore in your life. Anyway, so
I'm pretty sure Jackie Kennedy was also screaming, "Get me some brandy and water," while she was scooping up JFK's brain.
No, I thought Jackie Kennedy was screaming, "This is what you get for sleeping with that bitch Marilyn."
Man, everything does rhyme, huh?
You see what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps?
Are you saying that the presidential box caused that one too?
Yeah, but I
Yes.
mean, the presidential side box.
Exactly.
All right, so Wilkes, on his way out, Wilkes Booth stopped at a tavern for guns they had cached and sought treatment at a doctor's house, the doctor being famously known as Dr. Mudd, which is why the phrase "your name is Mudd" originates from this incident.
Oh,
I thought it originated from Primus.
Yeah.
No, nope, it goes back to the here.
Oh. So what
That's
did the song about Winona's? Never mind.
Yeah, so
That was about the presidential box.
Oh.
Yeah.
President's box has a draft now. Must be a wholesome one.
there's only been, to my knowledge, there's only been one first lady who doesn't qualify, and that was Michelle.
We can move on. I'd like to keep the channel.
Whatever.
Why?
You can make Mad's newest channel.
Newest is better than newer.
Well, considering,
I
yeah, I
was gonna
think
do the
at this
same
point
thing.
it should be the newer in honor of the
Boston Corbett. Yeah.
Mad's
I think
going out
that's-
of business channel.
Everything must go.
It'd be matter
Everything must
going
go
out of
50%
business.
off.
The Maderer.
So they also sought refuge and hid at Samuel Cox's home, a Confederate sympathizer. Police at this point had searched Seward's boarding house by 2, and it's approximately 2 a.m. and they found Booth's leftover items implicating him and their escape route. On April 17th, Powell, disguised, was arrested there after police found Booth's bank book, a gun, and a knife in John Seward's home.
Wasn't he dressed up like a woman?
Yeah, I mean, he's in your story. It just says disguise, but I believe that was what he was.
My name is
using.
Dennis.
I mean, Dennis, sir.
So they were basically like pulling the Willow move. Yeah, remember, this is the same guy who yelled down the street, "I'm mad, I'm mad."
Oh
He's
yeah.
really-
Oh yeah.
So I have another parallel side note. The guy, he liked to sing. He liked to go rubber burr. Was he trying to like be the precursor to Toby Mac? You know, being the Christian rapper of his day.
We can
I
keep
have to
going
do
on.
Yeah,
this
let's just keep-
I think.
to do this.
I had moved him before he even finished it.
All right.
As soon as I heard Toby Mac, I'm like, this is.
So Lincoln passed away at 7:22 a.m. on April 15th after being in
Why?
a coma for 9 hours. You know, most people
From
might say
what?
it was a broken heart. George Lucas said it was a broken heart.
Broken heart. Yeah.
that's
I
still
feel he needs more punishments.
for
I
yeah.
have
That's
made- I
that,
have
that's
made
the one.
additional punishments for his bad joke.
That's one thing. Like all you'd have to put it. Why did she pass away in Revenge of the Sith? Her carotid artery in her neck was fractured from being force choked, and in the process of childbirth, it led to massive blood loss instead of a broken heart.
Yeah, but it makes sense for Lincoln. I mean, remember Little Willie?
That's true. He wanted to be with Willie, not Mary Todd. She can just die, suffer. He's like, suffer alone, Mary Todd.
Are you mocking me?
Do not mock my pain.
All right, so a $100,000 reward was immediately offered, and troops were scouring Maryland. By April 18th, Lincoln's body was already out for viewing at the White House, drawing massive crowds. They didn't waste any time.
No. Did I put in the part of the tour?
Yes.
Okay.
So by April 21st, Lincoln's special funeral train carrying his body as well as Willie's, because per Lincoln's final wish, Willie's body was exhumed so he could be buried by Lincoln's side. By the way,
boy
if you
shall
ever
be exhumed.
if you were the surviving son and you were wondering who Lincoln's favorite was,
I mean,
the one
most
that went
people
on
quote
tour
the
with him?
Gettysburg Address, but his most famous quote was, "Wrong kid died."
That's funny. Like Willie was his opening act on his death tour.
think about, there's one of his sons did survive. Can you imagine? Like Mary Todd was probably the rest of his life. The wrong sons died, and your father stole Willie's body from me.
All I have is you to remind
All I'm left
me.
with is you.
Why did we stop doing that? By the way, the train funeral tours.
Oh, I thought you meant
Because-
shaming kids, and I think we still do that.
Not
Now
enough.
they lay in state because people can drive places
No,
or
that
fly.
makes sense. Yeah,
Like-
why they would put him on a train.
Yeah, so now if you're like really wanting to see a presidential body, you
How
can pay the
embarrassing
plane
it
ticket.
had to be that you're on tour. Well, I guess you wouldn't know because you're dead. But how embarrassing it would be for their family that you're on tour and nobody shows up.
Eleanor Rigby.
Mary Todd's in there like, we did great crowds in Columbus, but man, this Indianapolis crowd is shit. Let's just go. Let's just go.
Nothing good.
Nothing good ever came out of Indiana. This is why his mother died here.
Don't drink the milk.
Don't drink them.
Yeah, there's that town named Gary, but it reminds me too much of that Busey guy.
She's like, get me and Willie, get me, Abraham and Willie's body up to Illinois. Stat. We're done with Indiana. This piece of shit town. So they did the train tours. They stopped for mourners. So now with the manhunt underway, the 16th New York Cavalry, including Corbett, who was now back from his medical leave, was sent to Virginia on April 24th to hunt Booth. They were specifically assigned because of their prior experience hunting the Mosby Raiders.
Right.
During a church service, Corbett led a prayer, and I
God.
quote, "O Lord, lay not innocent blood at our charge, but bring the guilty speedily
Wouldn't he
to
have said, "Oh
punishment."
Lorder"?
Yeah. Can you correct that?
All right, I was going with how it was written, but I'll do the edit on the fly. O Lorder, layer notter innocenter bloodder at our charge, but bring the guiltier speedilier to punishmenter.
See, now I get it. Now that's Boston.
He's like,
Oh, that's all we needed to do? I thought we said khaki by the bay, but no, it's just
What? Khaki
When-
by the bay?
when asked for their
my
plans,
khakis by the harbor. But no, it's just
khakis. Like, never has khaki been a word for the Boston accent.
my khakis.
Oh, you go
Car
to the
keys.
fucking
Oh, he's trying to say khakis.
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 Okay,
Nah,
got it.
my khakis at Old Navy.
You didn't enunciate a
He found
Maybe
it
I was a
in
little
code.
too cockney.
Yeah, Bostoners with their Cockney accents.
Hold on, Punk. If you're going to do it mad style, you've got to add a little more Leo DiCaprio from Blood Diamond into that, and we'll be fine.
I'll work on that for next week.
Yeah, so the regiment sailed down the Potomac, landing at Belle Plaine, Virginia,
I don't hear you taking notes, Punkwaddle.
and they started questioning.
That's better.
They started questioning locals. A fisherman and his wife reported that Booth crossed the Rappahannock River with Willie Jett. The cavalry found Jett at an inn.
Hold on, he kidnapped the body of Willie?
No, this is a different Willie.
Oh.
This is the difference. Jet.
Yeah, so the cavalry found Jett at an inn.
Willie and the Jets, go on.
Where he refused to talk until he was threatened with torture. Jett led them to Richard Garrett's farm. Garrett claimed Booth was in the woods, but under threat of a revolver to his head, admitted that no, they were actually in the barn.
You think
Did
when
I say the
Corbett
woods?
threatened torture, he just like dropped his pants and was like, "Look what I did to myself. Imagine
can't
what I'm
hurt
gonna
me."
do to you."
Oh my god, he's every action hero.
It's right up there with Lincoln and Olympus Has Fallen, where he's like proceeding to beat them with a Lincoln bus to get them to break and give him information. It all comes back to this.
I was gonna say he's more like the last action hero who forgot to reload because he has no
It was a single shot.
in his junk.
You know, that's actually a flaw in his plan. If he was going to be killing Grant and Grant's wife too, he should have probably had a 6-shot revolver. It's not like they were new. You could have
True.
got them. They'd been around for 30
Long
plus
time, yeah.
years at that point.
I see. Mad has snuck his way back into the top spot.
It was deserved. You know?
Yeah.
Was
The
it?
forgot
Willie
what
and
it
the
was.
Jets song.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one. That's what earned it.
Oh, okay.
He's got electric boots and a mohair suit, and Lincoln's gonna be buried next to me. I don't know. What?
What up, Chad?
Don't talk to him. He's dirty. He's gonna rub off on you.
Wait, me or him? I don't know who
You.
you're-
Yes.
All right, so Lieutenant Edward Doherty and Booth entered into negotiations. Harold had surrendered and was already tied up, but Booth refused to exit.
Did he
Say-
ask for 10 pizzas and a helicopter?
No, he said instead he said, "Well, my brave boys, you can prepare a stretcher for me, make quick work of it, shoot me through the heart."
I want naked pictures of B. Arthur and a football helmet full of cottage cheese.
So, a detective on the scene, Everett Conger, lit hay and placed it in a crack in the barn to smoke Booth out. Per orders, he was wanted alive so they could question him about any Confederate involvement or a larger conspiracy. Corbett, who was positioned by a large crack in the barn, allegedly saw Booth aim a carbine and proceeded to shoot Booth in the neck, claiming, and I quote, "God Almighty directed me, and Providence directed my hand."
He just screams out, Corbett Jenkins.
Because he again said Booth was posing an active threat. Booth was
That
carried
sounds like
to
somebody that's written a police report before.
he was coming right for me, boys, I swear. He also detected the odor of marijuana.
Everybody turn off your body cams. Turn off the fucking cams.
It's like, hold on, you shot him? He was armed. Where? It
Here.
burned. It like the barn. Do you not see the barn on fire? I clearly saw a carbine.
No.
You mean his arm? It was a carbine. It was dark. It was hard to see.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he shot in the exact place where Lincoln was shot?
Not
The
close. So Booth was carried to Garrett's porch, and he was at that point paralyzed. He asked the soldiers to hold up his hands, and upon seeing them, stated, "Useless, useless." Before
What a fucking... It's the most pretentious actor fucking thing he could have done.
He really
Theater
is.
kid.
In
Theater
his-
kid to the end.
to
I'm
Flying
glad
out.
he's dead. Fuck this guy.
I was on his side until that moment.
You know,
You were on, hold on a second.
Wait, what happened?
It's worse.
You just said you were on his side for assassinating the president
No, I
of the
mean
United States.
Boston's, right?
I'm rearranging.
Corbett.
I was going to say I'm not behind you.
Oh,
That
no,
ain't
be-
fucking happening.
This again, the sequence of events was Booth said useless, useless. Mad said, I was on his side until I heard him say that.
Man, look. Stop
Look.
living in the past.
Don't
Don't let it burden you.
Mad's like, your last word should have been, I am unburdened by what has been. So officials were furious with Corbett
He was handsome.
for killing Booth
The roof.
because they had, again, wanted him alive to identify conspirators. They wanted to take action against Corbett, but public adoration made any court-martial impossible.
Oh no! They gave him the Luigi treatment.
Corbett testified he had shot Booth to prevent harm, noting the bullet struck near where Booth shot Lincoln, suggesting divine guidance. Now, he shot Booth in the neck. Lincoln was shot in the head. I guess general vicinity, but
I mean,
whatever.
those two things are
I mean,
really close
what-
to each other,
What holds up your head, Chad?
right? Yeah, you're getting moved down because you don't know anatomy.
I feel, it's funny. I feel like you're getting a little upset because about making comments about this man who killed your boy John Wilkes Booth.
He was. Oh, I thought
What
you
I
were
love
talking
about
about.
this is Punk Bottle has been batting about 100 tonight, and he's in the top row now.
Well, I'm gonna say that you move up when someone's like, Lincoln. I'm on Booth's side.
He was
he had
handsome.
a-
So this isn't in there, but he went to go
Matt
see a
is writing.
psychic.
Matt is writing fan letters to Wilkes Booth's estate. He's so dreamy. I've seen the
Dude,
special.
Matt's out there going for conjugal visits with this guy.
He's so handsome.
Conja bro visits.
It's like-
Conjubro visits.
if he had lived, Matt would have been like, "I'll be your presidential box. You can
I do
visit
feel
me."
bad for Corbett,
You
though.
can put a peephole in me.
Go ahead, stick your gun in there.
You know how we do this. When you're ready, just yell "Six Semper Tyrannis," and I'll know.
It's a single shot.
So Corbett,
I'm
Corbett
glad
was-
we're learning the story of Corbett, though, because
Yeah.
everybody knows Jack Ruby, and Corbett did the same thing.
Who the fuck is Jack Ruby?
the one who killed Lee
The
Harvey.
guy who killed
Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Jack Ruby worked for the mob. It was part of
Oh,
the
okay.
cleanup operation.
And then Ruby was killed in prison.
Years later.
Well, Mr.
Yeah.
Gregory, I think you joined this conversation at the end.
So, all right. So Corbett was offered Booth's pistol, which he declined. I'm not sure why we'd be giving that evidence away, but okay.
Is that
Well,
like
I mean, what are they going to dust it for prints?
The victor gets the title,
Yeah, the victor goes the spoils.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to keep the gun that killed Lincoln? Here you go, buddy.
You earned it.
He was given $100 for his gun, which killed Booth.
They tried to do a gun buyback?
So he was, and then he
No,
was
it's more
able
like
to-
when somebody hits a record-breaking home run and you want to get it.
Yeah, but I mean, because if you waited a few years, it'd probably, if you got it rated and stuff, graded and sent it off, it'd probably be worth way more.
He did take his horse Billy and was given $1,163.85 in reward money. Bear in mind, the actual announced reward was $100,000, but much like someone else not getting a T-shirt, the Army decided to adjust the amount of compensation that he was given.
To be fair, the reward was for alive.
Okay, yeah, that's a solid point.
I would say that let's.
He's lucky he got anything.
So just so you know, Brahma, he got 1.16% of the announced award.
Got to keep his
but how
gun.
But
much
there's
is
a
that
reason the
worth in,
poster
like,
said wanted
$8?
dead or alive, or wanted alive.
I mean, he's lucky he didn't go to jail.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So Boston returned to New York, resumed prayer meetings, and resumed annoying attendees. He tried to go on a lecture circuit to talk about Booth's death.
Everybody did that.
But the problem was his stories would devolve into sermons, and so he failed on the lecture circuit. By
And then he'd show everybody
1869,
his balls.
yeah, by 1869 he was back working as a hatter in Philadelphia, but he lost that job and proceeded to move to Kansas because he was receiving threats from Southerners. They took it personal, like Mad. So, he then left.
We were on his side until he was so lame.
So he proceeded to Kansas again and tried to live reclusively on 80 acres in Cloud County, where he proceeded to build a sod and stone dugout with firing holes to protect himself, but instead spent his time shooting at neighbors or children who were nearing his land.
Get off my property!
Brought to court for these shootings, he brandished a gun shouting, "Lies!" but once again avoided jail due to his hero status.
They should feel privileged. They were shot by the same gun that shot Booth.
Struggling financially, he literally dug his own
Why
grave.
not privileged like that anymore?
Right?
And requested that he just be buried in a new blanket when the time came. In 1887, while working as a doorkeeper for the Kansas House of Representatives in Topeka, Corbett was offended by some politicians' actions. On February 15th, he pulled a pistol, threatened the speaker, and waved it at legislators, reporters, and staff while others hid. Police managed to disarm him, and a judge declared him hopelessly insane, committing him to the Topeka State Asylum.
The funny thing is, it took this long. I feel like the moment you use a scissors to cut open your own ball sack and move your testicles, somebody ought to be declaring you insane at that point.
I think we're assuming that he advertised that a lot more than he probably actually did.
That's a solid point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it just came up? Hey, Boston, do you need to go take a piss? Nah, I don't have to go as much since I cut my balls out 20 years ago. Funny story about that. I just grabbed some scissors and cut them out. The Lord gave me guidance.
The Lord.
What did you expect me to do? 2 prostitutes hit on me.
And I had a response. And the devil was in my balls. I had to get rid of it.
The devil was in my balls.
I said, in the name of Jesus, I expel thee, as I threw my balls on the ground.
Which brings me to my next point, kids. Don't do mercury.
All right, so on May 26, 1888, Corbett escaped the asylum by stealing a visitor's pony because he was standing out there pretending to admire flowers and took the horse.
He just Grand Theft Auto that thing?
Yes, he did. He made his way
trusty steed
to the home of an Andersonville comrade who let him stay. He borrowed train fare and then fled to Mexico, where his final fate is unknown.
I picture him walking out of the desert to meet a
horse with no name.
No.
Damn it, Chad.
No, hold on.
Felt right to get out of the rain.
I
You never
picture him
asked.
walking out, and the reporter comes up. Oh, I'm gonna tell you about, back.
Are you doing Young Guns too, Mad?
Yes,
Don't
he
you
is.
do? You son of
And he moved himself up and you down.
You got mad because I stepped on it.
Real quick, I do want to, because people are like, you support the South or whatever because you think John Booth is handsome. I want to read, because he went to a psychic one time, right? That read his cards or whatever. Let me read the quote from her.
The psychic said, "Do not worry, you shall be remembered by the Mads of the future.
No,
and he will
this is
love
what she
you."
said. That she said that he was going to break hearts, but there'll be nothing to you. You'll die young and leave many to mourn you. You'll make a bad end. Young sir, I've never seen a worse hand, and I wish I hadn't seen it. But if I was a girl, I'd follow you through the world for your handsome face. Boom. By the way,
So
he kept
wait,
that and read it to people like, yo, check out what they said about me, my tarot cards.
So
Yeah,
what
yes,
he's
skip the first part.
Is there any confirmation that this fortune telling lady existed,
Yeah,
yes,
he
the
would.
paparazzi were around him.
or did he just make that shit up and then read it
Why
to
would
everybody
he keep the
himself?
first part in?
Slender, this is clearly real because that fortune teller nailed the woman's psyche in that you're handsome, so I will do anything even
Yeah.
after you murder one of the most amazing beloved presidents in the history of the United States.
Allegedly.
True. Shut up.
No, the one thing that isn't alleged is that he did it. But it's like the Luigi. He was Luigi. If they had taken him alive, the women of the North
Yep.
would have, tweeted him like Tweeter and dropped their panties
Swooned.
and swooned.
There wouldn't have been a dry seat in that jury box.
Oh man.
He
Were
would
women
not
allowed
be
to serve
convicted.
on juries at that point?
Yeah, he
I'm
would
some
not
of the
be
men,
convicted
too.
by a jury of his peers.
Oh no!
All right, was
No,
that
we
the
can't
end?
have-
I think he went to Mexico and started an avocado farm. He is the creator of the Haas avocado, enjoyed by millions all over the world today. That could, that'll be my headcanon for what happened to Boston Corbett.
That's
Why
close, but
why
I
do
think
the jurors keep falling off the bench.
because he's so handsome.
It's
So
slippery when wet.
I think that
Anchovy.
Eric's close, but he's actually the inventor of the nutless avocados.
Needless.
It's like he saw avocados when he went to Mexico, and he looked down at his trousers and was like, "I have an
I
idea."
have an idea.
might
Seedless
think-
watermelon, him.
You might think he's crazy, but listen,
Boneless chicken wings, him.
hear me out.
He still had blood flow.
It's like my life goal is to take Satan's influence out of every food.
Oh, dude.
Satan's
You know what?
influence is nuts.
You know who we should do next week?
What?
Graham and Kellogg.
Oh yeah.
yeah. I think he went to Mexico, pulled a pistol out of his pants, and said, "The power of Christ compels you."
Are you gonna go in next week? We'll talk about how Kellogg ran in places that did silly things. Yeah.
Yeah, or like how Graham the whole point of the graham cracker was so it would be flavorless because flavors get you horny.
Yep. We have to have a diet that is
What?
completely bland. Yeah, that's
Graham
the
crackers
precursor
taste
to
really
Kinsey.
good.
They are now.
Like of all the crackers, graham crackers have more flavor than most.
Yes, now.
now. Yeah, that we've adjusted.
Was,
All right,
was
we're
he trying
doing
to
the story next
genetically
week.
modify
Yep.
graham crackers to taste better?
All right.
I mean,
So-
yeah, they add flavor to it, unlike what
I
his
think
was.
it's a recipe more than genes.
now there is controversy about the final fate of John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, okay.
In 1877, John
Wait.
St. Helen, dying in Texas, confessed to lawyer Finis Bates, Kathy Bates' grandfather, that he was actually Booth, claiming Vice President Andrew Johnson had orchestrated the entire assassination plot and someone else had died in the barn.
Ooh.
Oh, what happened next?
So St. Helen made a recovery and fled.
You know all that stuff I said on my deathbed? I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
In
Oh, I'm not gonna
1900
die. I'm
in
gonna need to redact some things that I said.
In 1903, a man by the name of David George, who had a striking resemblance to St. Helen, killed himself in Oklahoma and left a confession that he was Booth, having killed the best man that ever lived. I guess he
Are
had
all
a
these
turn.
motherfuckers just doing the I am Spartacus right now?
No,
Well-
this dude is dead. What
Yeah.
good did it do him?
Yeah,
Wait,
so,
and when
I
he
mean,
said he killed the greatest man alive, was he talking about himself? Because then I'd believe it's Booth because
No, I
of
think-
suicide.
by 1903, Lincoln was venerated, so he was probably not John Wilkes Booth. But anyway, so Bates released a book in 1907 called "The Escape and Suicide of John Wilkes Booth," detailing the account that had been told to him. Bates then proceeded to rent George's mummified body to carnivals and freak shows so people could see the body of John Wilkes Booth. A 1920 circus train wreck killed 8,
Some.
and the mummy was kidnapped for ransom.
By the way, what dead kid did they dig up to open for him on this tour?
Willie.
Was Willie mummified too?
Willie's comeback tour.
No, by then the one Lincoln guy, the kid who had survived, had passed away, and they're like, we got him on the cheap. In 1931, Chicago doctors, including the health commissioner, x-rayed and did a write-up on the body, noting that it did have a fractured leg, it did have a broken thumb, and neck scar consistent with the reports of Booth's injuries. They failed to note that the wrong leg was broken in their report versus Booth's. The mummy was last seen in the 1970s, but it has continued to fuel speculation that Booth survived.
Do you think it just...
Wait, hold on. Did I not include the part with the plane that it was on?
There's nothing about a plane.
Damn it. Hold on. Let's not do it. All right. So, yeah. So, in 1931, it's... Yeah. The mummy was last seen in public in the 1970s at Studio 54 in New Orleans.
Oh, no.
It was
I
last
was going to
seen-
make a joke, but...
It
go
was
ahead.
last seen on Leonard Skinner's plane. Wait, that part may not be true, actually. But it was cursed. Well, that was it. So what
Hold
do you guys
on, wait
think?
a second. Mad, it all comes full circle because I made the horse with no name joke, and you made Leonard Skinner joke, so...
Yeah, but Horse with No Name was by America.
Yeah.
Well, no, but what's his name was in that, right?
All
What's his
right, well,
name was in
that's
that?
the final
I
lineup.
think he was a singer in then.
Final lineup. Any last thoughts? Everybody has their new hero, right?
I find it hilarious that Booth joined the Secret Service to kill the president, and then they created the Secret Service to protect the president.
Your statement in the group DM was very apropos, Mad.
Oh, I thought you meant mine. Be right back.
Wait, are you coming?
What?
I was going to say, what statement are you talking about, Ian?
We might know the story, but it's way more cuckoo bananas than we
yeah.
realize.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that one
That was
also...
like a week ago.
No, that was for this one.
Yeah, that was today.
Yeah, but that was like before the show, man. That's
But-
forever ago.
Everything was before the show.
No, I
That's
was
not how weeks work, Slender.
Yeah.
Oh, like you'd know, Brahma.
You lucky I finalized the lineup. Anyway.
I think
Lock it in.
I would just like to go on record as saying I'm profoundly disappointed that Mad seems to be on the side of John Wilkes Booth assassinating Abraham Lincoln.
No. I said he is handsome.
It was a
I'm
statement
proud-
that was made.
I am disappointed that nobody seems to have noticed that Boston Corbett was in the panel with us.
They fucked up your audio again.
Mhm.
Oh, did he?
No, he wasn't here.
That
He
got
was.
added to all of our names.
Oh shit. Who the fuck did that? I never
I
noticed
did
it.
that like an hour ago.
I laughed at the second edit, and you're like, "Oh, you just noticed," and nobody else said a thing. Although
I noticed it, but we had already made the hard R joke, so
Oh, I don't think you can have enough hard R's.
Do you think that the reason he invented the Boston Crab, the wrestling move, is because it's easier when you don't have balls?
Wait, how is it easier?
Because when you're sitting there and you're pulling back, you don't have anything you can really get in there and do that move to hurt the other guy.
All
think
right,
you're
well, I
stretching.
think we've
I
said
think he
enough.
just wanted to be able to cross his legs.
He didn't want
You
to
think
like,
he-
anymore.
Do you think he always got in
Boston
trouble
crossed
on
his
the-
legs like a lady?
No,
on the
he probably
train?
got in trouble for man spreading on trains.
I like that we're almost in sync there, Matt.
Oh,
Yeah, like our moon
bad.
cycles
Yeah.
or whatever men have.
I like the fact that the one dude managed to stab everybody in that damn house with a Bowie knife and managed to not have one of them die in
Not
the
one-
1860s when people were dying from paper cuts.
You
Like,
think
I
when-
didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to send a message.
You think when John met up over there, he's like, how'd you do? Stabbed every fucking person in there. Cool. How many died? I stabbed every person in there.
Wait,
think
I was
there
supposed to kill him?
Bro, you fucked up your KDR.
Oh, that's right. We do slashers, not stabbing.
He's like,
That's
next
way
time,
better.
next time I'm going to send you to a house full of bots, and you'll be able to get the job done. That's what
I
it is.
sent you with a knife because you're so bad with a pistol. There's nothing left.
I used the
go
pistol too. What did it do? It misfired.
I threw it at somebody.
so then I threw it at him.
I beat a little kid with it
Oh, you
before
killed the kid?
stabbing his dad in the face and neck.
Oh, at least you killed the kid. Well,
Somebody
I mean,
already maimed and bedridden still couldn't.
look, if you think about it, we're all going to die eventually.
At least you killed the kid. No, I slightly bruised him.
I stabbed him.
Oh, you knew got it the worst was the package delivery guy. Why? Why did you even stab him?
Because I wasn't signed on any case.
He saw my face.
Better question. Why'd he try to deliver the package while I was in here stabbing everybody?
I said I got a stabby delivery. We're locked.
All right. We were locked. That was
He changed other things after we were locked.
I know.
we're locked for sure now.
Total lock. Shut her down. We're done.
Anybody,
I don't
anybody
know.
got anything
I don't
to-
think adding ER beat the
promote?
Leroy Jenkins joke, but whatever.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That's how you got to first.
Sorry, we're locked.
Yeah, that is true. We are locked.
Weird.
You should have said something before we locked it in.
Corbett or Jenkinser?
Just want my fried chicken.
Anybody got anything to promote?
I'm not saying any word. I just moved back to the top.
Ascendant Arcade, probably a live stream Thursday night, and we might record something tomorrow.
Cool. Punk.
I do stuff.
Awesome. And you can find that stuff on the place that he does those things.
Yeah, it's Punk Waddle, not Beck Waddle, although 2 turd pikes and a microphone. It might be my next tour. I just need a good opening act. You guys know of any good mummified?
I know this kid Willie. Now listen,
Oh.
he's a strong opener.
Yeah,
As long as one of your headliners is Fumes and Rooms.
Oh, I'm gonna work with the AI on that later, so let's see what happens.
Corbett or Jinketer. That's really good. All right, I guess the best is we'll see you next time. We'll be talking about Graham and Kellogg. You think this story had a gross little moment? Wait until you hear next week. It is
That's it.
filled with those de-nutting type stories.
Frosted Flakes?
Oh, goody. No, Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's phrasing you're going to want to remember.
Yeah, they were quite opposed to nutting on anything.
MADePAP production.
This is now Mr. Kansas Law Dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy? Yeah. Yeah, that's real good, Law Dog, because law just don't go around here.
They keep on calling me, want me to put it down. Oh, baby, run to me, don't go from smile to frown. Hey, law don't go around here. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy, no daisy at all.
I want you to know it's over.